So, it's summertime, and not that much going on right now. But before it was summer, I came up with an idea. What if me and my friend met up and talked about something cool, made a video out of it, and just kept doing that? I mean, people gotta hear what I want to say, right? And right there is where we stop, because here we encounter a fatal flaw I happen to encounter very often during my endeavors. I'm an idiot. Somehow during the entire filming of this section, the camera was just slowly tilting higher and higher until it pointed to nothing. Absolutely nothing. And our bum asses just kept yapping away. And it's unfortunate because we were cooking, man. We were cooking. Now, I would just let the audio play at this point, but
You're putting up with the suffering and you're like accepting.
So instead, I'm just gonna give a quick rundown here instead. The topic at discussion comes about from a question that came into my mind when I thought about Magnus Carlsen, a man who is clearly gifted and who used his gifts to pursue greatness in chess. Now, while this was better than him not using his talents for anything, my first thought was if there was not something lost by him not using it for something more wholly beneficial for the human race, such as the advancement of technology. But let me stop right there. Obviously, there's something that feels inherently off about sacrificing one's wants and dreams in pursuit of this greater cause, not to mention the implicit need to restrict somebody's freedom, and the question of if the advancement of technology to its utmost limit is even a good outcome. But there's also that feeling of grandeur, brought about by a cause that can impact people across the world and into future generations that makes you think that, yes, this is the ultimate goal we should all be striving towards. And in response, my friend said, while true there are many people that find fulfillment in pursuing such an endeavor, there are also many people who find fulfillment from a more self-centric pursuit. They find the passion within themselves to spur on their creativity and take on endeavors they personally find interesting to achieve their top performance. And these ideologies, while different, are both possessed by the people coexisting in this world, and whichever brings about the greatest extent of their abilities is what should truly determine what type of goals one should strive for. That's the end of the recap. Back to the video. This is actually... this topic was actually brought up in Blue Lock.
Is it?
Yeah. Like world type egoists and self type egoists. Okay. Like some people try and they achieve their best, like they achieve flow and their best performance in like whatever activity they're doing when they're following their own desires, like them beating this one guy or them like performing this one move, right. While other people find them achieving their best performance when they're trying to achieve like what the world views as like the perfect form, like becoming the number one in front of the eyes, in the eyes of the world, or like.
I thought you were gonna say something else, because like there's another thing in egoism where it's like, so egoism is like, you've seen Blue Lock, it's like people are only doing stuff like for their own self-benefit basically, right? And so then it's like, okay, people are only doing stuff out of self-interest, so why is there like altruism in the world? Why do people do things like to benefit other people? And so it's like some people maybe like their self-interest is to just like, it leads them to just act selflessly or selfishly, but then some people, like the thing that will bring them the most like enjoyment out of life is to actually like help other people, basically. Like they're doing it for how it makes themselves feel.
This was brought up in another JJK video,
yeah,
by the same guy. This was talking about Yuji, the main character, and how like,
yeah.
And like how his whole drive is like help as many people as he can, right? And this was because like his grandfather in his dying words was like, be
help as many people as you can, and that was like the curse that was given to him
Right.
on his grandfather's deathbed.
Yeah.
And basically he helped, and his whole thing is like being selfless and doing whatever he can, putting his life on the line. But then it was put forward that this is brought it from an inherently like selfish point, because he finds that his life has no value unless other people find value in him. So for other people to find value in him, for him to have a purpose,
Yeah.
he's got to help other people so they can justify his life for him. And so it's inherently selfish, the reason he is selfless, which is I think what this was also mentioned like in another video, but like how JJK's whole point is like you gotta follow your own desires, and like whenever you don't, like in the story, whenever you don't follow your own desires, you like get punished like heavily, and when you do, you get helped and like get stronger and beat the enemy or whatever.
Right.
And I've seen this like trend, but how like in modern like shonen anime, there's a lot more like egoistic or like self-interest points. Like you gotta do it for you, you know. Like how compared to its previous generation, previous manga, how people found like helping other people is the main point. Like that's what you should do. That's what life is about, helping as many people as you can. While in more modern like shonen, there's more like selfish desires, like in Chainsaw Man, or JJK, which his actions are selfish, but selfless, but his reason is selfish, kind of. And like Blue Lock, obviously, how like the whole point of that show is like following your own desires to be the best and like doing it no matter what.
Right.
And I think it's really funny how that whole I think we were talking about this before, but the whole like the thing that was coming to my mind when you were mentioning like doing it for you versus doing it for like all of humanity, like finding purpose in that, like the thing that came to my mind was like cultures built around community versus cultures like American culture that's like built around individualistic stuff. And like how like community culture is like you do it for the community, and like you take on whatever suffering is dealt upon you if it helps the community.
Right.
While in America, it's more individualistic. It's more you find purpose for you, and you go and you get independent. And wherever you came from, it's good to help them out, but like you can drop them if they are not in your best interest. Like they don't have your best interest in heart. While in more community culture, I think we should sit down.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a good view. How in more community culture, it's there's a more forgiving aspect to people that don't have your best interest in heart sometimes.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What comes to your mind?
Because I have like I think my view. I think my view is definitely like influenced by me just being American. Like I think I come at it from like the individualist perspective, but I still definitely like. So I think it's what I'm gonna say right now. I don't have like a fully thought out thing here, like definitive statement, but I think it's like people. The primary thing should be people like doing their own thing, their own desires, what's best for them. But then I think also what's best for people is often also to like help their community, because I think people, not just like morally, I do think people, not in all cases, but most people, their experience of living is better when they are helping others versus if they're like hurting others to get ahead. But then I also think like the kind of like fostering of community that can come out of that, for example, is something that also benefits individual people's lives. So like, for example, I made a video about Vinland Saga at some point where like I think I kind of like arrived at that kind of conclusion where it's like Thorfinn could have his life purpose be like murdering some other guy, or it could be helping a lot, like as many people as possible, like achieve a prosperous peace away from war. And like in the show, he clearly becomes happier, like with himself, when he acts in the way that is like traditionally like more morally superior, basically. When he acts more altruistically, like that isn't just like a good thing, like a self-sacrifice thing. It is that, but then also I think like his experience of life is just better. Like he is suffering less internally as well because his
When he
purpose.
pursues endeavors that are more holistically as a society helpful to the people.
But I wouldn't say like I don't know. I don't think I would phrase it as like in like the like society should be what is it like
The top
communalistic versus
community
individualistic.
community-based versus it was. Are you talking about Bulak? What happened in Bulak, or something else I said?
Like the opposite of like individualism. Like what's the word for that?
Individualistic and community something.
Community something, yeah. I wouldn't say like society should be community something in the way like the extremes that we see in like a lot of Asian cultures. But then I also think like I guess it's like a extremes thing. Like the extremes of both are bad, I would say, because the extremes of individualism have led like American society to also be like we've lost a lot of the community that other places have, that humans are like traditionally used to, and we have a lot more people who are looking out like only for themselves. And I think maybe it could be like a naive belief, but I do think like people like Elon Musk are less happy than they otherwise would be by like exploiting the pain of less wealthy people to like enrich themselves, basically. Like I don't think like I think Elon Musk would live a happier life if he was not the CEO of Tesla, basically.
Okay, so would you say when chasing an endeavor, people should try and see, after they have found like enjoyment in pursuing it itself, they should see how it benefits other people too? Like they should see that it is beneficial to other people, and it would be more indicative that type of endeavor is more fulfilling. Like before somebody.
I guess you could say something like that.
What do you think I was trying to say?
Like I'm still thinking about like the chess example. So like there's well, first you can have someone whose passion and like main drive in life is like ending poverty throughout the world, and like that's obviously like that's a moral very good thing, and also like that's fulfilling to the individual person. But let's have like Magnus Carlsen, who is using his skills and talents to play chess instead of doing something else, basically, which is not as immediately widely beneficial to lots of people. But I still think, so first of all, I don't want to like restrict his freedom to do the thing that like he most enjoys out of his life. But then, I mean, maybe there's also like some benefit that still comes out of that, like chess. A lot of people like to watch his chess games or whatever, and they're getting enjoyment out of that as well. So there's like a little bit of something that's coming out of that.
This is this brings about a point that I was thinking about while you were talking about like endeavors that people pursue. Imagine, so I was thinking about like, and I was going to propose to you, what about endeavors like art or whatever, like getting really good at art or getting really good at a sport,
Yeah.
and that being your purpose in life, or what you focus mainly on life, would you say, and originally I was thinking those types of things aren't helpful for other people, but then I thought more about it, and like there are like some benefits to most people.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
would you say all endeavors that aren't like immediately harmful to other people, even if they seem like just beneficial to one person in them pursuing it, just because of the characteristic of humanity as a community, would you say that all of those types of endeavors that aren't immediately harmful to other people will be in some form beneficial to the rest of the world?
I'm kind of leaning towards that way. I feel like maybe there's something where someone is completely closed off in like whatever passion or whatever they have, that isn't impacting other people.
Closed off is interesting, because that makes me think, okay, maybe like somebody that like just like cuts off all connection to humanity and like just goes off to the mountain and lives by himself and finds fulfillment in just like that type of lifestyle.
Right.
That type of lifestyle is probably in no way helpful to like other people, and unless you like say like they're not polluting the world in a way.
Though also maybe by leaving other people, you're depriving your existence in their lives, and maybe that's a negative. I don't know.
That's not okay. Interesting point, but let's say that instead of it being a negative, it's just like, okay, I think it's more of a just like it's a non-cumulative score. It's just you're cutting yourself off from the scoreboard. There's like humanity and like the society that we live in, and if you're in it, then you impact other people's life. But if you just like cut yourself off from everybody else, go live in the mountains, you left all of your impact from that community.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you have no positive or negative impact on other people, and any purpose you will find in yourself. And so any endeavor you chase, all positive and negative influence from that will only impact yourself in a feedback loop on yourself.
Yeah.
So any and all endeavors that so from that, I'll say, if you are still in the culture of the civilization and like communities of people, any endeavor that you take in that environment where you're surrounded by other people, anything you do impacts other people. If you pursue an endeavor that is supposed to be individualistic, and if you were in a cutoff scenario, they would only be impactful to yourself. Would those types of endeavors, just by the nature of you being in a community, cause like positive feedback to everybody else?
I'm kind of thinking, if you're not like, if your passion in life isn't like something that hurts other people, like maybe it is just beneficial. I still feel like maybe there's an edge case that I'm not thinking about immediately, but I think so, because like a lot of stuff just becomes like entertaining to people. Like if it's not being negative, if we're cutting off all of that, I don't know if there is like a neutral thing you can find, really. This is a thing in like we talked about it in my modern philosophy class at some point, where like or no, this is when I was reading about Nietzsche for my final essay. In the book I was reading, it gave the example of like, because like Nietzsche's whole thing is like, you're finding your passion in life through stuff where you want to overcome resistance in the pursuit of your goals or whatever. But then the book raises the question of like, what if your passion isn't like to become like super powerful or something, like in politics or something? What if it's or what if it's not to like create great art, like Nietzsche would usually say? What if it's like, I want to win all the hot dog eating contests that I want to? Like that's certainly something that will take a lot of resistance to reach that goal. But it's like, how like beneficial is that really to like the person specifically, or like to society? And it's like, when I'm thinking about that, I'm definitely like, that's definitely not as big of a thing as like I would say like creating lots of great art, even, or like solving world hunger. But it's still like that can become like still like entertainment for people, and also like if there's other people in the contests, like they should be deriving enjoyment from like the competition of it, and you're participating in the game with them, you know. So I think that's like a valuable thing. What would be something that's like more useless than that?
That like
Can we find something that's like neutral? Because like we know there's obviously stuff where like you're harming other people.
okay, so you're by useless you mean like there is no impact on other people's lives
That's what
by doing this, and does this have to be like something somebody could find purpose from?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
maybe who can? Okay, I think something. It would have to be like closed off. I think.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like my first thought was like, who could, if you could shit the most? Well, who, if you could, what's the biggest turd you could shit out in a session, right?
Yeah.
And that would be unimpactful to other people because you just wouldn't tell anybody else that. This would be like to yourself, like, oh, this is what happened,
yeah.
and you just don't tell anybody.
If you're opening it up to other people and we're assuming it's not harming other people,
There's gonna be something from that. Like people will find that funny. You found that funny because I told you. If I just thought that to myself, it's kind of funny to me, and that's a good thing to me. But like that's how I kept the feedback to myself.
Yeah.
So I think for it to be neutral, it just has to be cut off.
Yeah.
Like there has to be no path for somebody else to be influenced by it. Like you can't tell anybody else about it. There's no way they can find out about it. Like the shit can't be so stinky somebody else can smell it.
Yeah.
Like metaphorically.
Symbolically. Like,
Symbolically,
figuratively.
the shit has to be big but not smelly.
Yeah. Amen.
That's actually there's something there. It's big but not smelly. There's something there.
Yeah. But then like also this is moving on to another point, I think. But when it comes to like the closing self off kind of thing, my mind definitely switches from like the question of like how is this impacting other people? It switches to like how is this impacting like the person who is closing themselves off? Like I think about like the monks who like starve themselves in the cave, and that's like their highest goal or whatever, because it's like on their path to reaching nirvana or whatever. And at that point, my instinct is like these people are like lying to themselves. Like this is actually like not the best life they could be living, basically. And I feel like it's kind of like it's not a very well thought out position. I'll admit to myself, because like I don't know. I guess like it is personally meaningful to them and stuff or whatever. But I'm like I feel like you can do other stuff. Like my instinct is like we are like social creatures. We're supposed to interact with each other. We're supposed to like pursue more desires that aren't like depriving ourselves of life, basically.
Here's my counter to that. The whole point, what were you saying? You were saying like there's got to be another way of doing it, right? There's got to be
Something
more
like that. Yeah.
So there's got to be another more helpful and more enjoyable way of like finding enlightenment or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like the point you're making. But this I was reading a chapter of Bullock.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And in this particular chapter, they were faced with this thing where like you got to choose one of these three teams. You got to pick which team you want to play with, right?
Yeah.
And depending on the team you choose, you'll have different benefits and different negatives. Like one team's like you got a really good player you can play with, but that means you won't look as good in comparison. While in another team, the players in it aren't as good, but like you have better chemistry, and so you'll look better when you play with them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main character, what he came to the conclusion was it doesn't matter what he picks, as long as he has the willpower to make that choice the right one. So like, it doesn't matter if like trying to find the most optimal choice just seems less useful than just picking a choice and going all in on making sure that choice is correct. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean there. Yeah.
Because I was watching this YouTube video and he was like, okay, you can spend all your life. This guy was saying you can spend all your life trying to find the easiest way to do things. and you're gonna come to the conclusion you should have always picked the hard choice, and then went through that, because then you would have got somewhere.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to find something, you're spending all your time trying to find a way instead of just picking a way and doing it.
Yeah. It's
You
like
know?
analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
It's also a problem in like utilitarian moral philosophy, where you're trying to find like what is the optimized like maximum utility that comes out of like every individual action that I do. And
Yeah.
you find that like there's always something else. There's something beyond like what you do in your average everyday life. It's like, should I donate all of my savings to charity right now? Can I calculate like the amount of good that does for the world versus like if I don't do that? And you really like can't do that. Like you just have to think about it in a more abstract, broader way.
Life is uncalculable.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. It's not calculation based. It's perspective based, I think.
Yeah.
If you can see, this is something else I was thinking of. I'm thinking, you were saying how like you don't have to find like this high paying job or whatever in CS. You'd be satisfied if you could just get enough money to live. And that's the thing. Being satisfied is a choice, I think. More of a choice than most people think it is. Like finding satisfaction is something you can choose to do, and I don't think people notice that. Like I think I could really just live off a part-time job, find like a small apartment, and like I could find satisfaction in that.
Yeah.
Choosing not to do that, choosing to aim higher, it's negotiable if it's better. Like maybe don't pick the easiest option and choose to be satisfied with that. Maybe pick the harder thing, trying to find a better life. But you can be satisfied with the easiest option.
Right.
Right?
Is it kind of like if you're not choosing like the simpler living standard, I guess, you're kind of like setting an idea in your head where it's like I have to achieve at least this amount before I'm happy, and that like holds you back. Is that kind of like what you're getting at? Would you say?
Yeah, it's like those people that like aim for more money. There's always more money you can make, and you'll achieve this certain level of riches, and you'll be like getting any more than that is pointless, other than just having more of it. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, choosing to be satisfied and there is a point to be made about like choosing to be satisfied with like barely any money versus getting so much money that you don't need anymore, and like getting any more than that point will be diminishing returns, right? Like choosing to make that decision about where to be satisfied. Like there's got to be a point where like there's got to be like a what's it called, a floor where you can be satisfied, right? Like you should always aim for above from someplace. Like don't be like, you shouldn't be satisfied with being homeless or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like that's not the right choice, but maybe it is. Like if you can find just like, I guess there's another point of like, can you be happy and satisfied? Like, is being satisfied inherently being happy? And like, is finding satisfaction, will that bring you happiness? There's a point to be made there.
First I wanted to go off something you were saying a few seconds ago, where it's like there's also the problem that comes up where it's like, so obviously like you have to learn to be kind of like content with your life, otherwise you're going to keep pursuing goals that are like eventually impossible, which like, or your goals are like too high to be achieved, and you'll make yourself miserable if you're not like content with the life you're living already. But then also like I think it's a problem that people run into as well, where people are content, or like they're telling themselves they're content with standards that they should not be accepting. Basically, that's the struggle in Chainsaw Man, I believe, where Denji is too good at like accepting the conditions that are given to him, or accepting the conditions that he finds himself in. And I haven't read all of part 2 yet, but part 1 of the manga ends with him saying like, I want to have 10 girlfriends, and I want to eat steak for breakfast every day, and I want to have tons of sex. And it's like a big moment for him, because he's finally realizing like, I want like more stuff. I want to achieve more stuff. I want to make my life better. And I think it's kind of like, you kind of find like a sweet spot between those where you're pursuing stuff and you become content with like what you're pursuing, and then also the remaining conditions of your life. I think there's like you find like some things that you care about pursuing more, and then you realize the other things like don't matter so much. So I think we both seem to be like not I don't think either of us cares super much about like the career angle of our lives. I think that's where there's like kind of wiggle room where we can be content with very like a wide variety of stuff. But then there's other stuff we want to pursue maybe that we care more about.
Dude, this just kind of, I just kind of randomly had a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Just like right now. Like before this I was thinking, okay, satisfaction is a point you achieve and you're there.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm thinking maybe satisfaction is something you achieve in a certain point, a certain thing. Like maybe you're satisfied in a certain career point, right?
Yeah.
Like you've achieved this much money, you don't need any more. But then you're not satisfied with something else, right?
Yeah.
And so you chase that.
Yeah.
And then you're satisfied with that, you chase something else. And for some reason I was stuck at the point that like you choose to be satisfied and then you're just done. And like you can't, you gotta be you're like at a point in life and you gotta be satisfied with everything that you have at that point. Like I don't know why I thought that, but like what you're talking about, it just made me think, okay, you can choose to be satisfied with some things, but not with everything, and that will give you purpose to chase.
That's what keeps you going in
That
life.
keeps
like,
you keep
otherwise
going.
it's like, okay, I can just kill myself now.
Yeah.
I think that's the point you kind of arrive at maybe. if there's no reason to keep living.
What I was thinking about achieving satisfaction is that maybe it doesn't give you happiness,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it does detach from the possibility of you gaining, you know, sadness. Like if you're satisfied, there's no reason for you to be sad about this thing that
Yeah.
you don't have or can't or won't get. Maybe you're not happy with what you have, truly, but you won't be sad that you don't have more if you're satisfied with
So
what you have.
you're saying happiness in kind of like a more like temporary like joy kind of way,
Yeah.
versus like just kind of like base like I am fine, like I'm chilled out with my current experience, which is like a slightly positive feeling,
Yeah,
I think, but like happiness is more like
more.
more.
It's more.
Yeah.
It's. Do you think humans should want more? It's kind of weird.
I think so. Yeah.
We should want more, but
I
see,
think so.
that's where all the issues come up, right?
Yeah.
Global warming. You want more cold air.
Well,
I don't know.
I've been trying. Occasionally, I'll try to work through like what is the formula for everything in like ethics to like solve this. I think what we want more of is for our lived experience to be better, and so that includes not destroying the planet through global warming. Basically, like if humans are not able to live comfortably in the climate that we create, then we are making our lives worse, basically. And so it's kind of like a holistic humanity view, because maybe the oil executives or whatever, their lived experience, maybe they'll die before they reach the point where it actually gets worse. So you have to think about it.
But you gotta think about the
level.
future generation.
Yeah. But then that also brings into like the problems of like how much do we value the individual versus the
Yeah,
community,
I was-
and then we're circled around.
I was thinking the
where we
same
were,
thing,
20 minutes
and now we're
ago.
come back.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. But that whole more thing. I was thinking about like those tests we took. Have you ever taken those like ecology tests about like how much water you're like how many earths you'd need for the amount
I've
of
done
water you
something like
use,
that.
right? And so I was thinking, okay, the amount of water I think I'm using, it's like I don't really think I'm using that much,
Yeah.
right? Like I think I'm not being conservative with it, but I don't think I'm overusing it. And then I look at the chart and it's like I'm using 3 Earths amount
Yeah.
of water, and so like I think I'd be sadder if I as a person would be less happy if I use less water than I'm using right now. Like I got to use 1/3 of the water I'm using right now. And there's some calculations I'm sure that went wrong in there, but I'm probably using too much water for the amount of people we have on Earth.
Yeah.
But should I make those concessions to myself about like using slightly more than I should? Like, I know this is bad, but that slight amount more than I should do will give me so much more happiness, right? And there's a case to be made, maybe the amount of happiness that I get from this point to this point isn't worth it, or it's not that big, but I don't know if I should say I can't know that. What I'm going to say is, should I still do it?
Right. I think that's an interesting question. I'd have to know like the calculations like right for myself as well, because I think I took the test in like 8th grade or something, and then I got like 13 Earths or something. And I was like, what the hell? Like I didn't know I was using that much. But I think like something that I've been thinking about recently is that I take super long showers, or at least that's my like natural tendency to take longer showers. And so in the moment, I feel like some pleasure from just being in the shower for a while. But something that I've been thinking about more recently is like the amount of time I spend on various things throughout the day. So there's time I'd like to spend on the things that are more meaningful to me, like maybe making YouTube videos, or maybe it's just like maybe I'd like to experience more art, like I'd like to watch more movies, read more books and stuff. And so I kind of like I've been able to turn the shower time thing into like, I reduce shower time, which is reducing my temporary pleasure in the moment. Like maybe that's temporary happiness that's going away, but I'm converting it into like my own pursuit of other things that's more valuable to me personally.
You're choosing to be satisfied with your shower time, so you can pursue.
Oh, that's so good. That's so
something
good.
else.
Yeah. But I'm just wondering specifically, like, this is getting more like mechanical or like technical, but it's like how much water use is actually like does the individual person, or like how much water use would each individual person have to like make us like sustainable on this planet? And then I'd have to see like, can I actually like live with that in a way that I can be satisfied with? Because I don't actually know what amount that water is, or like how that, like, would I have to wash my hands like for 10 seconds less or something every time I wash my hands? Or would I like have to like not wash all the dishes that I have or something like that? I don't know.
See, I'm thinking of this now. So what about instead of choosing to give up the amount of water you're using to satisfy this earth, satisfy the requirements of this earth, and instead stick with the amount of water you're using, and then choose to find more earths,
right?
You know. So that this is tangentially related, but I was thinking of like the issue with like, you know, continuously evolving technology, and like growing populations and stuff, about how like eventually Earth won't be able to handle it. But because of both of those things, about having more people, having better technology, it will give us the opportunity to go to another Earth, more habitable places, make it more habitable. So choosing to make concessions on those things will help the current situation, but it gets rid of the possibility of like keeping the amount we have right now, and then possibly getting more. But that's a choice about like, should you bet on that? That's a gamble.
Right. That's like, this is the Gurren Lagann route, where it's like you've been presented with like two choices, which is either you let, or you restrict humanity, or you restrict yourself to try to be satisfied with less. Otherwise, maybe you'll lead to yourself or humanity's destruction when we like overpopulate or we use too many resources. But that's a false dichotomy a lot of the time, where there's actually a third choice, which is we become better and we become stronger, and we find resources in places that we couldn't have like found if we if we kept restricting ourselves to that dichotomy, those two bad choices. So that's like what if we can just get more water from like comets or something, or we can start colonizing Mars if we just get the technological advancement to do that. And I think I'm an optimist for stuff like that. So I tend to just like we're not at that moment right now. Definitely, I don't feel like, but for this hypothetical future scenario, I tend to I bet on humanity's ability to overcome that.
Overcome.
Yeah.
So you think we can defy God?
I think we can defy God. I think we can kill God if we wanted to. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it comes down to that, yeah.
Where human evolution is the strongest power.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, you think so?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying this. I haven't judged
You're not
that.
sure, but
I don't know.
It's what you want.
It's fun to say that. Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you power.
It gives me power.
It makes me feel good saying that. Yeah, like saying I can achieve the great thing that I said, you know?
Yeah.
Like just saying it makes you feel good.
Yeah.
So it must be the right choice, right?
It must be.
If like just saying something, like saying this is what's gonna happen, that's gotta be the right thing to do, right? Do you think that?
Always 100% the case.
Yeah?
I mean, no, definitely not.
Definitely not.
There's definitely things that are pleasing to think at some point to some people that are actually bad.
Like,
So-
yeah.
Well, probably, yeah. I would say that's bad. I was thinking like Hitler, but that works too.
Okay, but I think those types of things, there's got to be some type of guilt that you might feel.
I think that's also a thing.
But like, and compared to those things like humanity as a whole can achieve anything. Like that
there's
feeling.
no guilt to feel there.
Yeah, right.
That's a good point.
But I wouldn't know. I've never realistically said I want to kill millions.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and wholeheartedly wanted and willingly want to do that. So they're beyond me.
There's like fireflies around. I haven't seen them in a while. It's pretty cool. I think like I mean you can like tell yourself lies sometimes maybe. Like if you can truly delude yourself into believing something that you want to believe, but that's not actually true, then I think that could be temporarily pleasurable without having like guilt as a thing. But also like then this is where I come back to we have to like enhance our experience overall as like the primary thing, because like I think if you're deluding yourself for something, then you're making your life worse in some way. Like it would be better if I had a specific example of this, but like if you're living your life based on a lie that's good to believe, then you're not living like the true life, and I think that's worse for you, basically.
How would you know though? How would you know
you wouldn't like feel it, but it would be worse. Again, like this would be better if I had a specific example, but I'm a little tipsy still, and I don't have one in my mind.
If you were more drunk,
if I was more drunk,
it would have come to you.
True.
Maybe if we were high or something.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, what do you think is a correct position to think philosophy? High,
Well,
drunk,
the only
or...
drug I've had is alcohol, which just makes you stupider, I think. So, but
Real.
I mean, like, I think, well, weed also makes you stupider, but I think in a different way that maybe unlocks some other thoughts.
Okay.
That's how people tend to talk about it, I think, or that's like its portrayal in
We wouldn't
media.
know.
But I wouldn't know. Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Okay.
What time is it?
I don't know.
9:21. I think I could take you at this point.
Okay.
Yep, that's the end. And I think I'm going to remain positive on how well this video does. So I have a question for all of you new viewers. What should I do with this end screen? It's a kind of a black void right now. But, you know, it could be anything. Like, oh, look, it's space! And, oh, there goes a rocket! Oh my god, you know? So what should I do with this? And not just the end screen. I can take any recommendations on the whole format. This is a new concept me and my friend are doing. So, what did you like? What did you not like? Anything you want me to add? Just let me know. I'm always down for feedback. But yeah, this was my first attempt at editing a video, and I think I kind of cooked here. Give me my flowers down in the comments. If you see me in real life, give me some flowers. Maybe like a lotus or something. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah.